if I were you. I know you scared, I do too, if I were you. You better bring your A game, bring your A game. You better bring your A game, bring your A game. You better bring your A game, bring your A game. You better bring your A game, 'cause all of us you better bring your A game, bring your A game. You better bring your A game, you better bring your A game.
Vikings fullback CJ Ham here. I'm JJ Vikings. Welcome to the show, CJ. It's a pleasure to have you on. An absolute pleasure, a great honor. You're a huge inspiration to me.
I definitely appreciate you having me on, man. I love what you're doing. I'm seeing it all the time, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate it so much. And you're a guy who I've been watching since I was about 6 years old. So having you on my show right now, it's one could say a dream come true, and I can totally agree with that. I think it's a dream come true having you on right now.
That's flattering, man. I mean, making me feel old, brother. But I truly appreciate it again, and thank you again for just allowing me to just be on, bro. It means a lot.
Of course. And I'm going to start it right off by saying you were born in Duluth, Minnesota, and got your education at Augustana University and Denfeld High School. So what I got to say is Duluth, Minnesota seems to have a special place in your heart, right? So what's it like for you when the name Duluth, Minnesota is brought up? How much of a special meaning does it have to you?
It means a lot, man. I'm proud. I'm proud of where I grew up. Where my family brought me to, and Duluth means a lot to me, and my family, and my dad and my sister, my nieces and nephews still live there. So I just love to go back and just give back to that community because they gave so much to me.
That's amazing. That's honestly that's amazing how much Duluth means to you, and how great of a person you are to be from that area. I think it's absolutely incredible. And you came into the NFL in 2016, and when you came into the NFL, it was around the same time that I started watching it because I was about 5-6 years old, and yep. I just found you to be a huge inspiration to me, especially in 2017 when I got to see how much more of a player you are, and just all that. It's incredible. It's incredible not only how far you've come as a Minnesota Vikings player, but also how far I've come to finally interview you and not just watch you as a fan.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's you're definitely bringing me back. 2016, 2017. Those were some special times. I only had one kid at the time, and now I have three going into my 9th season. You're laying it all out there, man. And it's been a journey, and it's been great. And I'm glad that you've been a part of my journey since the beginning, and to see where you've come from, see where you've come now, and see the work that you put in and what you love to do is pretty special, dude.
I agree 100%, 100%. And another thing, so in the 2020 season against the Jaguars, 13, you had a 12-yard catch for a touchdown against the Jaguars. Now, 2020 was a season that the Vikings were struggling, trying to get into the playoffs. Unfortunately, they went 7-9. It was an unfortunate season at that point, but that 12-yard catch for the touchdown against the Jaguars ultimately put the Vikings in a more comfortable position to win that game. So just how do you feel contributing in any way possible to help the team.
Yeah, you definitely done your homework, man. You're bringing it back. I remember that. Not many people in the stadium back in 2020, but I do remember that play specifically, and it was great. And that's kind of been my motto my whole career is just do whatever I can to help the team. It's not about me; it's about we. And with my position, it's more so about serving anyway. It's about serving the running backs, protecting the quarterback, just doing whatever I can to, help our team win, and that's what it's all about.
And to go back 3 years further to 2017, the 2017 season, obviously the season where the Minneapolis Miracle happened. So many players that I can just name that I really, really admire the same way I admire you, like Case Keenum, Latavius Murray, Dalvin Cook, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Jarius Wright, Kyle Rudolph, Daniel Hunter, Everson Griffin, Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr. I could go on and on. But what I can say is, how did you react while you're in the awesome stadium with the great atmosphere and the Minneapolis Miracle happening there? Stephon Diggs taking it all the way into the end zone with only 10 seconds left, and the Vikings having, I believe, 0 timeouts.
Yeah, it was actually more of a shock. Like I was happy, but at the same time, I was looking around looking for a flag. I just couldn't believe what was happening before my eyes. And it didn't really hit me till after the fact that we won that game that way. It was just complete shock, and I've been able to be a part of some really really cool games in my career, and that's definitely number one.
Yeah, and imagine me being 7 years old watching that. My heart could not have been any better, could not have been any more excited. And I just feel that, the Vikings back then were very special, 2017 Vikings. I don't think they were better than the 98 Vikings. That's a debate for the fans to make. But I feel that the 2017 Vikings were still really, really good and absolutely an easy to root for team, and a team that I could definitely, definitely ride with for the rest of my life. And to continue on, special teams. I've seen that you've made some appearances in the special teams section of the field, including this. So you made a nice block. This was back when the Vikings had a different punter in 2021, who Ryan Wright eventually beat out. So unfortunately, I can't remember his name right now, which is very unfortunate. I can't remember his name. But he punted the ball. He was number 3 for the Vikings in 2021, but he punted the ball against the Seahawks week 3. And
Oh,
you made
yeah.
a disgusting block, like an incredible block on Trey Flowers on that play. Trey Flowers was a corner for the Seahawks during that time, and that block, that hurt my ribs. I got to say, for watching that hurt me. So how do you continue to make big plays on two sides of the football, which is absolutely incredible? How do you intend to continue to do that? And are you still playing on special teams?
Yeah, for sure. I'm still a teamer. I will always be a teamer. That was kind of how I came into the league. Being a fullback, not a lot of teams use a fullback at a high clip, so you have to be able to play special teams too. And that was kind of my way to get into the league. And I try to keep it as something that helps me stay in the league. Just being valuable in more than one aspect of the game. And special teams is different. It's a different part of football. I didn't do it in college, but I grew to love it right away in the NFL, and it's a special bond. It's a special bond for sure.
You are a natural at it. I never would have been able to notice that you didn't play in college or any time before the NFL, because when I first noticed you playing special teams, I'm like, this guy is good. I mean, you're right up there with guys like Josh Metellus or Najee Thompson that are already making a huge impact on special teams, and that's something that I find amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, those two names you just mentioned are definitely the real deal. I'm just the old guy that's trying to keep up now. But those guys like Najee, Josh Metellus, BA, all those guys are tremendous special team players, and I'm just glad I get to be on the field with them too.
yeah, it must be exciting to be on the field with those guys. And then week 6, 2021, you had a 30-yard carry against the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that was the longest carry of your career because the way you just took off, like Kirk Cousins back when he was quarterback, he didn't even hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook. He trusted you enough to take it down the field just to punch it in for the first down. But you took it 30 yards on a simple 3rd and 1. How did that feel?
Oh, it was good. It was good, man. My whole life I played running back. My rookie year, 2016, I came in as a running back. Switched to fullback my second year in 2017. So, to get into some open space, to be able to show some of the moves, from back in the high school and college days, it was a lot of fun, man. And like you said, it was a big moment of the game. That was a really close game. I remember that game. I think we won. Ended up winning in overtime. So it was a big moment in the game, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did win in overtime with a KJ Osborne game-winning touchdown. Unfortunately, he's on the Patriots instead of the Vikings right now, but I am definitely going to remember him for all that he's done for the Vikings. And to speaking of KJ Osborne, he was a big part of the greatest comeback in NFL history. And you were also a big part of that game because you scored a touchdown on the goal line when the Vikings were down 36-7. You scored a touchdown, making it 36-14, and then from the rest of the point on, Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen and KJ Osborne, and then Dalvin Cook with a 64-yard touchdown on a screen. I mean, those touchdowns were incredible. But your touchdown is kind of what got that started, besides KJ Osborne's touchdown before that. So how did it feel to proudly say that you scored one of those touchdowns? You scored one of those touchdowns to make the greatest comeback in NFL history on the Minnesota Vikings. And I hear that your friend, James, was also at that game. So that was also something that could easily be added to the great part of it.
Yeah, for sure, man. It wasn't even really me who kind of realized it, but my wife after the fact was just saying just going to your point that I scored a touchdown and the biggest comeback in NFL history. That'll be something that'll go down in the record books, and that's definitely pretty cool. Pretty cool to be a part of history like that. That game, like I said before, I've been a part of some really, really special games. With that game, with the game in Buffalo, the Minneapolis Miracle, the game-winning touchdown in the first round of the playoffs against the New Orleans Saints. Like, been a part of some really, really cool games. So to have that too definitely means a lot, and it's just really cool to have those opportunities.
Absolutely. And having an opportunity like that, you never want to let something like that slip out of your fingers. And, definitely you took advantage of the opportunity and helped your team win. So that I'm always thankful for. And to move on, I have a question for you. So besides your awesome family, do you consider the Vikings running back room a family to you as well?
Oh, 100%. All those guys, even the guys before that aren't with us, they're still super, big parts of my life. People that I talk to regularly and I think about regularly. So the running back room for the 9 years, going on 9 years I've been in the league have been special people in my life.
Definitely. And a part of the reason why I asked that is because on the Vikings channel, it showed that your wife was in the stands for the Vikings Saints game in Week 10 of the 2023 season, and she was cheering for not only you, but Ty Chandler, Kene Nwangwu, and I believe there was another running back there. But obviously, she's obviously going to cheer for you the most. But I just feel like you guys consider the running back room a huge part of your family. And for me, I feel that that's very cool to not only be teammates with people, but to also create such a strong bond with them and play the same position as them that you consider them your family. I mean, that's a huge connection. One that I feel will not only help off the field, but on the field, because that way you have a clearer mindset that you guys are playing for each other. And I feel that can really help you lead towards success in the very near future.
No, you definitely hit the nail on the head on that, man. My running back room, it's a brotherhood. And we do so much life together. Our wives and girlfriends do so much life together. So like, yes, my wife is going to cheer for my fellow running backs just as much, because when they're successful, we're all successful. And those are guys that I would do anything for. They can pick up the phone and call me at any time, and I'll do my best to be there.
Of course, I know you will. Considering the kind of guy you are, you'll be there for anyone. Yeah. Do you miss Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison? Because I for sure do. After meeting Alexander Madison's family at last year's event, so there was an event held before the Vikings Buccaneers game. It's called Skull Fest. It's held before every home opener. It's held by a Twitter account named Vocal Vike and SKNFL. I'll show you the accounts after the stream. But they hold events called Skull Fest. So Alexander Madison's dad showed up to the last one to help rock for the Vikings. And we have forever respect for him for that. And I think that's what added on to us really missing Alexander Madison. People can say all they want, he wasn't productive in the run game last season, but he's got a special place in our Vikings heart. Same with Dalvin Cook. I feel like the running back room and the productivity at running back wasn't really the same without them, but I think it'll get better this season.
Yeah, I love both those guys. I was just talking to Dalvin a couple of weeks ago. Talked to Alex, I believe, last week for a bit, and I'm looking forward to seeing Alex this weekend as we play the Las Vegas Raiders at US Bank. So it'll be good to see him. Be weird to see him in a different color, but nonetheless, I'm super excited to see him, and I'm just continuing to pray for Dalvin, and I'm just hoping he lands somewhere because the man's got a lot of ball left in him, and any team that gets him is going to be truly blessed.
I hope so. I hope that for Dalvin too. And I probably shouldn't say this, but Alexander Madison does look good also in black and silver. That jersey for the Raiders. I think he does look kind of good in that. I'm not saying he doesn't look better in purple, but he does look kind of good in that black and silver.
I definitely give you that. It definitely fits him. The color scheme fits him. He does look good. Now I wish him the best of luck.
Me too. One thing that I kind of got from the 2023 season was Cam Akers. Vikings running back Cam Akers, former Vikings running back Cam Akers. He's now on the Texans. He had a nice season when he was playing for the Vikings. Like from the weeks of week 7 to week 9, he had a very progressive part of the season. He was very productive in the running game. I feel like he could make some shifty moves. And in the Vikings 49ers game, the game where my favorite player on the Vikings, Cameron Bynum, had those 2 interceptions, I feel that Cam Akers had some great plays, and I feel that it really showed his how productive he is in the screen passes too. Like when you threw a screen to him, he was juking guys left and right, making moves, took the ball all the way down inside the 5, which really helped the Vikings go down and put points on the board in any way they could. And then had a nice touchdown against the Packers in week 8, which was the first rushing touchdown of the Vikings season that season. And then against the Falcons, also had some nice runs and some nice catches, even had a block on a lineman. He blocked the defensive lineman. And then, unfortunately, he tore his ACL, which got me very, very sad. Very, very sad. He was headed down the right path. But then Ty Chandler took over and had a great season when he played. But the question I wanted to ask you was, did you want Cam Akers to re-sign?
Yeah, first off, Cam's an unbelievable player, and he showed that, like you're saying, he showed that right away. We were super fortunate to be able to sign him at the beginning of the season, and he was a great addition. He was a great addition to our squad. When it comes to who we resign, and I don't get into that business, but I am happy for him. He was training here. I got to see him every once in a while. And, it would have been nice if he would have been back in the room, too. It would have been great. But I'm glad he's in Houston. I believe he scored a touchdown in the first preseason game. So I'm glad that he's back. He's back on his 2 feet. I mean, he worked super, super hard to get back to where he is. And he deserves everything that comes his way. That's for sure.
I totally agree. And I was just saying, like, the second he scored that touchdown, I was thinking to myself, may God bless this guy for the season. He deserves to come back healthy from that injury that he had. And the fact that he scored a touchdown from guess who? Case Keenum. So
Yeah.
already two former Vikings that meant a lot to the team, making great plays in the preseason. Kind of upset that the Bears won for obvious reasons. The rain delay, I didn't like that either, but safety over everything. But another thing that I have to say is something I'm a little upset about. So last season against the Chiefs, week 5, there were so many flags that weren't called, including one where a defender was grabbing at your face mask and the refs didn't even see that. Or I think they did, but they didn't call it. So how did you feel after that game, after so many missed calls? And, I didn't feel that the offense wasn't doing well. I think they played well. It's just the refs didn't seem to be on our side. And I feel that you were doing some pretty good blocking. And then when the defender grabbed your face, I was just really, really mad at the fact that the refs weren't doing anything about it. And I was thinking to myself, I hope CJ is coping with this well, because he does not deserve that. He does not deserve to have a call missed out on him because some guy is grabbing at his face mask and no penalties called. Because that's not allowed in the NFL. So I wanted to ask how you felt about that at the moment.
Yeah, all good, man. Thanks for the question. That's just football. That's just the name of the game. Sometimes things are gonna go your way, and sometimes they don't. That was a great game. We competed our butts off against the best team in the NFL, Super Bowl winners, and it came down to those last couple plays. And at the end of the day, if the refs don't call it, it wasn't a penalty. So. That's just the name of the game. You got to go out there and play. And next time I got to try a little harder to get that job done.
Yeah, I think you definitely got it done. And one thing that made me so amazed, that made me feel that was so cool. Well, not the penalty, but something that made me feel was so cool was when your wife posted on Instagram that when you play the Jaguars in Jacksonville, that'll mark it as the final stadium. Well, maybe not the final stadium, but that'll make it so that you played in all 30 NFL stadiums, which I feel is super awesome, super duper awesome. And she seems to be a big supporter of you. Actually, she is a big supporter of you. And I feel that NFL wives are very underrated, and they know a lot more than what people think. But the fact that you are going to play in the 30th NFL, not the 30th, but in 30 NFL stadiums after that game, just wows me. It blew my mind when I saw that. I was like, really? He's been in the league that long and still playing healthy, still playing fresh. And I just want to congratulate you on that. That is awesome.
I appreciate it, man. And yeah, it is pretty special to, one of my teammates brought it up today. He was jokingly, coming at my wife for saying, your wife's thinking about going, she has to go. But he was saying to, play in every NFL stadium with, being on one NFL team, it's pretty special. So I'm looking forward to it. Get the check off Cleveland, next week, and then Jacksonville, and during the season it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think she has to come too. She's got to go support you. It's going to be 30 NFL stadiums that you played in. Your wife's got to be there to support you. Got to be there.
Well, she's my biggest supporter, my biggest fan, and I love her to death.
And one thing I didn't tell you about myself is I was born and raised in Roseville, Minnesota for 7 years. Well, I actually moved there when I was 5 from Little Canada, Minnesota. So I was born and raised in Minnesota and just absolutely love it. Unfortunately, I currently live in Massachusetts right now, but I do plan to go back to Minnesota for the Vikings-Niners game, and I do really hope to see you there. Whether it's before or after or during the game, I'm definitely going to be cheering for you and cheering for all the guys that I've had on my show, and even all the guys that I haven't had on my show, because, it's the Vikings. It's one whole team with all great guys that are competing very, very well to win a championship, and I hope that happens. And I also want to thank you for coming on this show, and for everyone that decided to come and support Vocal Vike, Too Evil to Hope, Mary Fisk, and Traveler. Thank you all so much for joining the stream. CJ, this was an absolute pleasure. Just know that I admire you, I support you, and I think you're going to win a championship for sure.
I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm proud of you. Yeah, I love it, man. Thank you.
Of course, and that makes me so happy to hear. And for all the fans out there, players, the entire Vikings organization, thank you for all that you do, and Skull Vikings.